Murder mysteries in churches are nothing new. But what if the priest himself was an ex-boxer with a history of violence? That's the fascinating premise behind the latest Knives Out film that's got everyone talking.
The setting alone is brilliant. Our Lady of Perpetual Fortitude. Even the name drips with dark irony when you consider what happens within those hallowed walls.
You know what's really compelling about this setup? Josh O'Connor plays Father Duplessis, a priest who literally had to face a religious tribunal for punching a deacon. Talk about carrying your past sins with you.
And then you've got Josh Brolin as Monsignor Wicks, basically running the parish like his personal kingdom. The power dynamic there must be incredible to watch.
Well, what's fascinating is how Johnson uses this religious setting to explore themes of power and corruption. Monsignor Wicks meets his end during a service. You couldn't ask for a more symbolic moment of divine intervention.
Speaking of symbolism, the cast they've assembled is like a perfect congregation of suspects. Glenn Close as the all-seeing church administrator, Jeremy Renner as this mysterious, disgruntled doctor.
And don't forget Kerry Washington as this tightly wound lawyer, paired with Daryl McCormick as her failed politician's stepbrother. It's like Johnson is creating this microcosm of society within the church walls.
That's exactly what makes these Knives Out films so compelling. The way they use these enclosed spaces to examine larger social issues. How does that play out in a religious setting?
Well, you've got this fascinating intersection of faith and doubt. Think about it. Andrew Scott plays a struggling author, Kaylee Spaney is a disabled cellist, and Thomas Hayden Church is this groundskeeper named Samson. Each character seems to represent different forms of suffering or redemption.
Oh, and bringing Daniel Craig's Benoit Blanc into a religious setting, that's got to create some interesting tensions between earthly justice and divine judgment.
You know what's really clever about this setup? The murder happens during a service, which means everyone was present, everyone was watching, and yet somehow, this crime still occurred. It's like Johnson is playing with the idea of collective guilt.
That must make Mila Kunis's job as police chief particularly challenging. Investigating a crime where the entire congregation are both witnesses and suspects.
And let's talk about how this fits into the larger Knives Out universe. We've gone from a family estate to a Greek island, and now to this small-town church. Each setting brings its own unique moral complications.
So what do you think about the decision to give it both a theatrical release and a Netflix run? That seems like a vote of confidence in the final product.
Well, it makes perfect sense when you consider the visual elements at play. These Gothic church spaces, the religious imagery, the way Johnson typically uses architecture to frame his mysteries, it's definitely something that deserves to be seen on the big screen first.
The religious symbolism must add such rich layers to the mystery. Even the title, Wake Up Dead Man, has these haunting biblical undertones.
Exactly. And that's what makes this potentially the most complex Knives Out yet. It's not just about solving a murder. It's about exploring faith, redemption, and the price of forgiveness. When your victim is a religious leader and your prime suspect is a priest with a violent past, every clue carries extra weight.
Sounds like Johnson has managed to maintain that perfect balance between sophisticated mystery and dark comedy that made the first two films so successful.
And that's really the genius of these films. They work on multiple levels. You can enjoy them as clever whodunits, but they also offer these deeper explorations of human nature and social dynamics. Setting this one in a church just adds another fascinating layer to unpack. We're giving Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, a score of 8 out of 10.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.